So, good day, viewers. I'm back with my second video finally, and before I start, I want to say thank you for liking my video, my first video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. Thank you for supporting my channel in general. I appreciate your support, and I don't take it for granted. And may God bless you. So, today I want to talk about some of the strategies that I employ in order to improve my speaking skill, right? Because in obviously speaking is one of the four domains of of a language, the other three being listening and then reading and then writing. So in order to improve your level in any language, you have to work on these four domains because because though they are separate, they have a lack in one has a way of spilling into the other, and when you build on one, it also have a way of spilling into the other domain. So for my speaking skill, one strategy that I employ is to record myself when I practice. So I I do that. I used to do that a lot. However, these days I'm very busy and I no longer do it every day, but I still do it when I have time. Sometimes I do it these days I do it maybe 3 times in a week, but there was a time I was doing it every day. But I'm very busy these days, so I no longer I no longer have the luxury of time. So so but the idea of this video as well is for me to be free, right? I bet I'm going to make mistakes in the course of this video. Please, I know I'm deviating. I bet I'm going to make mistakes in the course of this video, and I would love it if you could point those mistakes in the comment section and the corrections if you if you know them, because this is this is how I improve, and this is how I can improve. So but so back to what I was saying. Sorry, I deviated. So when I'm done with my my day at night, I usually practice English. So I would click on the record button on my phone, and then I would I would start talking. The idea is to talk about anything, talk about how I usually talk about how my day went, okay? And then after that, I would talk about ideas, I would talk about anything that crosses my mind. So it is a form of simulation. I'm trying to simulate real case scenarios, and I notice that when I do those things and I get in and I when I do that and I start flowing, I start letting my thoughts flow out. Those things I start noticing some things. The first is the sentences. There are sentences that I have never allowed myself to complete in life. So when I meet those sentences, usually in public, because I don't know, I've not allowed myself to see the end of this sentence, I would stop and then find an easier way to say what I have in mind. Over the years, these sentences that I've never allowed to be completed, build up, and they serve as a form of drag, restricting me from going at maximum speed in English, which is fluency, and also reducing confidence when I want to speak in public, because who knows which who knows which sentence is going to pop up. So, and now when you have to speak in public, you are no longer thinking about the idea that you want to communicate to the crowd. You are now thinking about, you are now battling two demons. One is trying to convey what you truly have in mind to the public, and then the second is trying to make sure that you don't make mistakes in the form of those uncompleted sentences coming up frequently. So that is one thing I notice when I record myself. I allow myself to flow, and then those incomplete sentences will come out. And when they come out, I don't rephrase. I don't rephrase them. I allow myself to make the mistake. I allow myself to stumble. I allow myself to fall, right? So when I make those mistakes, I catch them on tape. I have them in the recording. So when I'm done, I usually keep it brief so that I don't overwhelm myself, because that is also a thing. This is meant to be fun, right? It's not supposed to be work. And when it becomes a big work, now you start looking, you look forward to it as a job you have to do, a work you have to do, and that is how you you become overly stressed. So it is something that should be that should be done with enthusiasm. It is something that you should look forward to, right? Like like a birthday party. So I I that is what I do. I When I get those mistakes on tape, I feel happy because I know that this is one less sentence to worry about. This is one sentence I know the end of, and this is one sentence I have to know now, that so that the next time I have to speak in public, I will have no issue I will have no issue with this sentence popping up. I know that I can handle this sentence because I've seen the end of this sentence because of this practice. So that is one thing I I notice when I record the mistake, the the incomplete sentences always come up, right? Together with that is one thing. The second thing now is I also notice that I am able to obviously spot the grammatical mistakes, because when I record myself, there are certain ways you English is simple, but English is simple in one way and complex in another way. So there are certain sentences that when I start there are certain complex sentences that when I make, I lose track of the verb noun agreement, because of how entangled the idea the how entangled the sentence is. Now I no longer know if it should be plural or if it should be singular. So I also encounter those things, and then I just allow myself to use whichever one that comes to my mind. And then when it comes to my mind, I'm going to write it down. I'm not write it down, I'm going to catch it on tape, and then I will feel happy, right? So that is one thing, and then that is the second thing. Now the third thing is, I notice when I record myself, is the idea that I have conditioned myself, is the idea that I have conditioned myself unknowingly to say some certain things that are not correct. So when I catch those things on tape, when I catch those things on tape, I have the time, I now have the time to go back and rewatch that tape, rewatch the recording, and now re-say those things the right way, and then re-say them the right way with the intent of erasing that which I already have in mind, if that makes any sense. So I and this happens, this particular one happens when I talk very fast. When I speak very fast. When I speak very fast, I make some mistakes. So the idea now is, obviously, when I'm practicing, I'm not going to be as slow as a snail, right? I'm going to speak quite fast, quite not very fast, but allow myself to speak at a good pace. If at that my good pace that there are certain sentences that are rolling out of my mouth and I'm not able to control them and they are wrong, I'm going to note them, and then I'm also going to I'm going to I'm going to address them when I look at the recording, when I listen to the recording. So these are the things I notice when I record. These are the things I notice when I record. The next thing now is, after the recording, I will now calm down. I usually limit it to 10 minutes. I will now calm down. I will now calm down and listen to the recording sentence by sentence. So whichever sentence, sometimes I will make a sentence and I'm not even sure of this sentence. I will just send it to Chat GPT, and then it will give me some sentences, and then it will give me some proper ways to phrase this sentence. Then I will use that. I will now re-say those things, trying to put it in my mind. Okay. So another thing I also do is, this is what I do chiefly. So I will go through the recording sentence by minute until I am done with the 10 minutes, and then I will write out the corrections. Sometimes I write out, sometimes I just screenshot, and then I send it to my Google Drive, not Google Drive, to Microsoft, to OneDrive, and then I save everything there so that they can be in order. So, and then once I have addressed those mistakes, I feel more comfortable. So sometimes when I don't want to use ChatGPT, I forward whatever sentence that I'm not certain of to a friend, to a teacher, my correspondent who teaches me English. And then together we'll talk about it, discuss it, and then she'll tell me the ones that are more natural, and then the better, which ones are proper, and which ones are, although I can't detect the ones that are not natural, but it helps to also converse with a correspondent who helps you with English, and you can that way it is easier for the sentences to stick in your head. So I'm very sorry this video is getting long, but I'm going to stop here. This is one strategy that I use to improve my speaking skill, and so far it has been working. And unfortunately, I'm no longer as active as I used to be, but hopefully soon I will get back on track after I'm done with my exams and I'm no longer as busy, I will hopefully get down and start doing this every day because it helps. So if you can incorporate this, if you can do this, if you can try this out, I am very certain you are going to see a positive result because it is a vicious cycle. Once you start seeing results, it becomes interesting, you become addicted to it, and you want to do it quite often, and then that is improvement. So thank you very much for listening, and see you in my next video. God bless you.